Tammy Sipniewski, your crypto queen. Thank you so much for popping by my channel. Please know that this is not financial advice. I am only here to entertain you and to remind you to buy on red candles. Okay, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Not your keys, not your coins. So if you have your coins sitting on Voyager, right now you don't have access to them. You can't pull them off the platform. You can't make any trades, exchanges, withdrawals, nothing. You're all locked up. They don't know what's going to happen, right? They're going to try to restructure, try to do something. So here's the thing. It's like Celsius. Celsius is now locked up for, is it 20 days? Celsius is locked up. Voyager could face pretty much the same thing here. What's going on with Voyager Digital? So we did get a little notification from Voyager today. Let's take a little peek at what they released. So if you are on Voyager, in case you don't know, you locked up. You locked up and you locked out. Can't put anything in. Well, you probably could put stuff in. They wouldn't mind you sending ETH over there, but you just can't withdraw it. You can't do any trades, nothing. So it's not looking too good. Here is the official announcement from Voyager. It was posted earlier today. Voyager update, July the 1st. Today, Voyager made the difficult but necessary decision to temporarily suspend trading, deposits, withdrawals, and loyalty rewards effective at 2 p.m. Eastern. This provides time to continue exploring strategic alternatives and preserve the value of Voyager platform we have built together. We are in discussions with various parties and will provide additional information at the appropriate time. More information can be found here at their press release. When I will be able to access assets on the platform. We understand the significant impact of this decision, and we are working quickly to lift the suspension on trading, deposits, withdrawals, and loyalty rewards. We will provide updated information as soon as it becomes available. While we are not in a position to announce anything else today, we are hopeful that we will have more to share soon, and we'll keep you updated. Is the app still working? You will still be able to view market data and track your portfolio in the app. You will receive rewards payments for the month of June, and we plan to continue to pay monthly rewards in July. I have a Voyager debit card. How is it impacted by this announcement? Your debit card will stop working. Can't use the debit card. You will need to stop any direct deposits currently going into the account connected to your debit card, as well as any automatic payments made from the account. What does exploring strategic alternatives mean? Like, they're trying to cover all their bases, right? They're trying to get all of these questions answered up front. We are in discussions with various parties regarding additional liquidity go forward strategy for the company. While we don't have anything else to share today, we are working diligently and hope to have more information to share soon. So it was pretty much, they basically just kept repeating the same sentence over and over. We don't got anything for you. Hopefully soon, we'll have something to share with you. Good evening, Eddie. What's up? John Patrick, Rick's Mix is in the house. Good afternoon. Thank you. Yes, please smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not already subscribed, that would be awesome if you could do that. So we found this out today. I was on a Twitter space and somebody bounced in there like, yo, Voyager, it just locked up shop. They're done. So what happened with Voyager? We know they're one of the many casualties from Three Arrows Capital. Now, in case you don't know, Three Arrows Capital is a hedge fund. Basically, they deal strictly in cryptocurrency. They've been in business for over a decade, and they were actually, two young gentlemen, friends in college, very respected. But these guys really leveraged themselves to the hilt. Guess what they owe Voyager? You're never going to believe this. I'll just tell you. $650 million to Voyager. Three Arrows Capital was heavily invested in, you guessed it, Terra Luna. Terra Luna is the gift that keeps on giving. They're like the reason why Celsius shut down. Now they're going to be the reason why Voyager, well, technically it's Three Arrows Capital, but Three Arrows Capital heavily invested in Terra Luna, right? As soon as that stablecoin, the UST depegged, caused the hypermint of the Luna token. And here we go, right? Like this is causing a domino effect. Whenever there's bad activity in the market, and people that are over leveraged, it really exposes where people are weak. And if you're over leveraged in the crypto market now, you're done. If you had anything to do with Terra Luna, if you were heavily invested, if you were one of those lunatics that put basically all of your life savings into Terra Luna, you're done. What's up, Miss Saint Laurent? Is it crazy to have any coins in the Coinbase wallet? No, your wallets are safe. That's the thing. Your wallets, they're yours. They're decentralized. These other platforms, Coinbase, Crypto.com, KuCoin, Gate.io, these are centralized. You have to prove who you are in order to be able to exchange on them, right? So these, your wallets are safe. Your MetaMask is safe. Your Coinbase wallet is safe. There are rumors that Coinbase is going to be affected, not the wallet, the exchange. We don't know yet. KuCoin has been thrown out there. I don't know how much Three Arrows Capital, I don't know how much exposure they have to Three Arrows Capital. Three Arrows Capital does owe a lot of money throughout the industry, right? So Voyager, we were definitely hoping that Sam Bankman-Fried was going to help those guys out. And he did give them like a revolving loan, basically, but I guess it's not enough, right? Like, how can you $650 million to Three Arrows Capital? That's insane. Who else does Three Arrows Capital owe money to? Because now this is happening with Voyager. They technically defaulted with their loan to Voyager, Three Arrows Capital. Who else do they have loans out from? So they have loans out from FTX, BitMex, Deribit, bitfiniex, and I think there's one more. So if you have money on any one of these other exchanges, again, I'll repeat, although I think, no, I shouldn't say that because I don't think it could be safe. It may not be. FTX, the reason that I would assume FTX might be okay is because Sam Bankman-Fried is the CEO of that, and he's a smart dude, right? Like all of these other exchanges, when they loaned out that kind of money to Three Arrows Capital, they really didn't take in that much collateral. That was the issue. They definitely should have had a bunch of collateral on hand. Some of these exchanges that did take collateral took it in the means of Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoin. This is another reason why, people are saying, I called Bitcoin $11,000 a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's like, you're crazy. It's not going to go down to that. Look at the charts and look at technical analysis. I'm like, hey, man, when it comes to this market, this bear market, you can take all of your technical analysis and throw it out the window. It means nothing because when people start to get liquidated because they're over leveraged and Bitcoin just starts to get dumped on the market, there's no technical analysis for that. There's no way to determine how many Bitcoins are going to be dumped because people are getting liquidated. In this case, they just didn't have that much Bitcoin up as collateral. And that's why Voyager is in the position that they're in. It's very, very bad. My Shiba Inu is on Voyager. Does that mean I won't get it back? So, no. What this means is right now they're suspending everything. So you can go into Voyager and check your portfolio. You can still continue to track stock prices and volume and everything. You could see it in there. You just can't trade it. You can't withdraw it. You can't transfer it. You could just basically look at it. It's blocked up in there, but we have to await further news to find out what's going on. Now, don't forget, the good thing that Voyager does have going for it is that Sam Bankman-Fried, who is like a multi-gajillionaire, he, as it stands, he owns 11% of Voyager, and he's looking to buy a lot of these smaller exchanges. He's the guy that's looking to buy Robinhood. So he's got his hands into a lot of different things. I think what's going to happen is this is not financial advice. This is just what I'm thinking from this situation. He's going to allow them to restructure, and then they'll probably wind up getting a bailout from FTX. Remember, he offered them that revolving line of credit, which just was not enough to cover the debt from Three Arrows Capital. Now, can they fix this? Can Three Arrows Capital find some way to perhaps maybe they get some loans or they get some revolving lines of credit and be able to dig themselves out of this situation? I mean, hopefully, because they're in debt to the tune of like $1 billion. That's a big hole to try to dig yourself out of. I mean, it's not like, I could put a couple extra $100 on the credit card this month. I'll just have to cover it. No biggie. Thank you very much, Ms. Lebrun, for the $10 bomb. Thank you very much. So if I were you, I would definitely, if you're not following Voyager on Twitter, follow them on Twitter. Make sure to check them every day to see what they're saying, because they did release an announcement today through Twitter just to let you know what was going on. I mean, not that it was nice of them to do, because really it was the least they could do to let people know that this was going to happen. They gave hardly any notification, though. When they said this is going to give people a chance to get it done, and over, it was hardly any time at all. Just like a very small slot of time where you could boogie on in there and get your stuff out. By the time I found out about it, it was already too late to take the money out. So this is what they put out on Twitter today. The announcement, I think that's what we went to, right? Yeah, that's what I already read. Let me go over here to this article, because it does talk more about, how they got into this. What's up, Maddie? Thank you so much for popping by the channel. Talking about this debacle now with Voyager, which is a complete crap show. And of course, bye-bye crypto lending. I did trick everybody, but I figured it was important to go on because of everything that's going on with Voyager. Voyager sounds like Safe Moon. Can't do anything with, hopefully it's not going to be like Safe Moon. Like Safe Moon, they were kind of like a crap coin that had built a huge community and a big following. And who does that sound like? What other cryptocurrency has a huge following and that's all they have? Their utility is their community. It's a mystery. This is what is being said over on Decrypt. This was written earlier. Voyager digital halts trading and withdraws after Three Arrows Capital default. Citing current market conditions, the embattled crypto trading platform has paused all customer activity. In brief, Voyager Digital today announced that it has suspended withdrawals, deposits, and trading on its platform. The firm issued a default notice to the hedge fund Three Arrows Capital this week. Three Arrows reportedly owes Voyager about $646 million worth of crypto. Crypto trading platform Voyager Digital announced today that it has temporarily halted all withdrawals, deposits, and trading due to current market conditions. Voyager CEO Stephen Ehrlich said in a press release. Earlier this week, Voyager Digital issued a default notice to Three Arrows Capital, the crypto hedge fund, whose apparent recent demise has sent shockwaves throughout the cryptocurrency industry, impacting other firms that had exposure to it. This was a tremendously difficult decision, but we believe it is the right one given the current market conditions, said Ehrlich. This decision gives us additional time to continue exploring strategic alternatives with various interested parties while preserving the value of the Voyager platform we have built together. So what is he saying there, right? Like, they're not saying anything different than what Celsius said. And don't forget, Celsius, we're like on day 20 that they put the shutters up and nobody can peek in and see what's going on over there, right? For Celsius. So, what's up, my girls in the house? This is Sherry. Sherry represents Archie Nico Token. As you can see, it's on my banner. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much for popping by. Sherry loves everybody. So, yeah, that's the situation. Sherry, did you know? Sherry, are you on Voyager? Did you know that they battened up the hatches and they're hunkering down and they're not letting anybody take anything off? If you have one of their uh, debit cards, don't even try to use it because it's going to be declined. And ooh, how embarrassing that would be, right? You go ring something and your card declines. That's embarrassing. So if you've got that, don't try to use it. It won't be any good. Like I said earlier, they do have loans out from a lot of other little exchanges. Now, when I was on the Twitter space today, there was a guy in the room. Of course, it was a Saitama Twitter space. Guys, you know I'm over there listening to that because there's big news going on over there. Um, I don't know if you're interested in Saitama or not, but so Three Arrows Capital does have a lot of exposure to FTX. I think FTX is going to be fine, but I don't know. The reason I think it's going to be fine, it's run by Sam Bankman Fried, multi gajillionaire, billionaire guy, right? I don't see this guy loaning out a lot of cryptocurrency without having collateral. He seems too smart for that. A lot of these got Three Arrows Capital really rolled the dice. Maybe in other market conditions, this would have been okay. Now, this brings me back to the original thing. This all boils down to Do Kwon and the depegging of the UST stable coin. When that UST coin depegged, it caused the hypermint of Luna tokens and it devalued that UST. One coin that is supposed to be worth $1 went all the way down to pennies, right? Worthless. Anybody that had huge investments in Terra Luna, and a lot of people did, right? Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, a lot of people. What somebody said to me was very interesting in this Twitter space. They're like, Tammy, if you recall the financial crash, uh, I believe he said in the 90s. I think he meant in the early, when everything went down in the 2007 era, that crash. What they did was they took a lot of the smaller banks and basically drove them out of business. And then they gave the bailouts to these ginormous banks, Bank of America, Chase. They all got these huge bailouts and they wound up gobbling up the smaller banks. Like you probably had a bank in your town that was just in your town. Nobody else had ever heard of the bank, but that was just your hometown bank. That's the one you use. Those have been replaced by Wells Fargo, Chase. I don't even know if B of A is, yeah, I think it still is. Like those bigger banks gobbled them up, right? And he said to me, what if that's the case here? What if this was all sort of planned to kind of like eat up a lot of these smaller exchanges so that it's, all of that power is now going to be in the hands of the very few. And I thought about that. It was an interesting point. But the thing is, other smaller exchanges can just crop up. Like this is cryptocurrency, this is DeFi. Terrarium is going to have an exchange. Saitama claims it's going to have an exchange, regardless of how you feel about it. That's what they're claiming. Like there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies that are saying, hey, we're going to make our own exchange. So I don't think that that's necessarily true. And of course, we don't know what the success rate of what these other exchanges are going to be. But these are different than banks, right? They're different than that. So I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think these guys took a huge gamble and Do Kwon, and I've said it before, I think they went after him on a personal level. I don't think it was they focused on Luna token because they felt like it was gettable, like it was the one that could be approached and taken down. I think they targeted him because he's been such an asshole to everybody, calling all of these other cryptocurrency projects rug jobs and how he's going to be around for the next 100 years, like really rubbing it in people's faces how great he is. And I think people don't like that. I don't think people like all of that posturing. So I think that's one of the reasons why they went after him, right? So, okay, I'm a little late. Jeff wants to talk about Archie Nico. That Twitter post on Terra pump and dump was brutal. Oh, is somebody saying the FBI is going to come get me? They're coming to get me. They're coming to get me. I hope not. The 8-9 crash of '09, but the crash happened before '09 because don't forget that George Bush was still in office when the crash happened. And he, of course, George Bush was not very smart. So Dick Cheney actually had to do all they broke up the TARP payments. I don't know if you remember that. The TARP payments, they broke it up into two different things so that half of it would go on their spreadsheet and the rest would fall on the Obama administration. One thing about Dick Cheney, that guy was slick, right? He talked this country into war in Iraq. We didn't need to be in Iraq at all. William says, Saitama copied SafeMoon and Terrarium, bad business people with no creativity. Yeah, that's what I felt. Like I felt that Terrarium was a legitimate project, and the only reason that Terrarium was even being attacked was because one of the biggest investors had left Saitama to create Terrarium. That's why there was any FUD to do with Terrarium at all. It was Dr. Praveen. Dr. Praveen left Saitama. You guys, Dr. Praveen was a holder in Saitama. At Saitama's all-time high, his bag was worth $70 million, and he didn't sell. He hodled. He hodled all the way down until his bag was finally worth like $5 million. Can you imagine 70 million to 5 and you stick it in there? Like, that's crazy. He was at the Saitama release party in Vegas, which then, of course, they postponed it. So technically, it wasn't the Saitama release party. This is when all the other devs started dumping. This was the night of the all-time high. This was the highest price it had ever been and ever would have been. Everybody started to dump. Everybody's like, oh, the price is 400x. Now I'm going to start taking profits. While the devs were dumping on the community, poor Dr. Praveen, don't forget, at this time, his bag is worth 70 mil. He runs back to his hotel room so that he can begin to buy more Saitama to throw more Ethereum at the liquidity to hold the base. And this is the guy they crapped on when he left. Like, he did everything that a hodler could do, and they still crapped on him. So if you're ever looking for anyone to be loyal to you, please don't ever think it's going to be the Saitama devs. Those people have knifed so many people in the back. It's not even funny. It really is not even funny. Yes, Bush crash. Remember, they didn't want to bail out the banks and the car companies until Obama came in and bailed them out, and they paid it back within a year. But that's the first half of the payment did go out under Bush, though. You're right, though. Obama did bail out the car companies. That was like a thing, though. But they definitely, because the whole economic system globally was cratering, and they were like fiddling their thumbs. They were just like praying that they could get out before the whole thing collapsed. Like, that was brutal. I had just started my company. Talk about a time to completely quit your job and walk away from your job and start your company. Like, you're walking away from a paycheck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, here I am. I've just started my own company. And now, like, the whole financial system is crashing. It's okay. I wound up being good. I remember that. Cash for clunkers. They called it. Yep, you're so right. Cash for clunkers. Dave D is in the house. Dave, what's up? Only have been in crypto a year and a half. This is my first opportunity to buy things cheap. Just wish I had more money. You're lucky, man. You're lucky. It is a good time. Listen, no matter what you say, there are certain crypto projects that are very good to get into for the long haul. It's a good place to start to get in, and I'm talking about some of the blue chip assets. As far as I know, Crypto.com has not loaned any money to Three Arrows Capital unless they have and they're keeping it on the down low. But I haven't heard anything about crypto. So I am so very bullish on the Crypto.com as a blue chip token, very bullish. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Bitcoin, well, everything is going to go lower. 100%, everything is going to go lower. I predict Bitcoin is going to 11,000 and Ethereum will probably be around 500. And once again, the reason that I'm making this prediction is because when you're looking at the charts, you can't look at the charts, right? No amount of technical analysis is going to be able to chart this market. We are in uncharted waters at this point. Technical analysis breaks down when things like people getting liquidated come in. The number one thing people want for collateral is Bitcoin. People want Bitcoin for collateral. So there's so much Bitcoin being held as collateral that when they're liquidated, all of that Bitcoin gets dumped on the market. You can't TA for that, people. There's no amount of TA that's going to be able to cover what those liquidations are going to be. And it's just starting. Like Voyager is the tip of the spear. We saw Terra Luna go down. Okay. I know it's trying to come back. The Luna Classic, they're trying to come back, but really, where is it going to go unless the stablecoin gets straightened out or they sever it? They have to do something. But without the stablecoin, like, what is Luna even really, right? Like, what is their ecosystem? Is it worth anything? And then all of the other companies that took huge bets on the Luna coin, it seems like everybody owned Luna Classic. It seemed like everybody owned it. That went bad. Celsius owned it, went bad. People that took a huge gamble on Ethereum 2.0, right? They staked their Ethereum so that they could be validators. But now we've had that difficulty bomb go off. And it just went off. So now it's going to take 100 days to even migrate to Ethereum 2.0. So maybe it won't even happen because there's a couple of times that smart bomb has gone off and they have even pushed it further. So these people have taken big gambles on Ethereum thinking that, it's going to pay off, but it's not doing it yet. Dondo says, I've been buying Crow every day. Can't wait for it to go back to their all-time high. Yep, I love crypto.com. I initially started buying it, I think at like 15, 16 cents, I think. And same thing. I've been buying. I had my brother get in at 50 cents. So I'm like, you got to keep buying, because he's like, I'm down. I'm like, buy. Shut up and buy. Got to buy. Always do your own research before investing. That's a good idea. It is always a good idea, you guys, to definitely do some research because, listen, guys, you just never know what's going to happen. Now, I did take some notes during the last AMA that I had attended for Archie Nico token because, like I said, I think I like that project for a long-term project, right? Like they're building a metaverse and they're doing all this stuff. So it is going to be very interesting when they're finally up and done. Like they are going to build they have a blockchain that's going to be in place. And the guy that owned JP Matthews, he is the developer of, what's up? Oh, we got the people from Vault in the house too. And of course, Vault, amazing. There was like 150 Ethereum buy for Vault today. That was crazy. Like that was a big, huge, juicy buy. Somebody saw a great opportunity to get into Vault because Vault is another one that's going to be coming up with an exchange. Like there's all these different smaller parties that are going to start to have their own exchanges. So that's why I was kind of leery about what that guy had suspected. Like they're gobbling up these smaller, it doesn't work like that anymore. Like that's how much the financial markets have changed since the last financial crash. It's totally different, completely and totally different. Like it's amazing. I am Volt for Life. What a name. I'm Volt for Life. Hey, I only believe if you're Volt for Life if you've got a tattoo. You got a tattoo of Volt. I'll only believe it if you go on Twitter and post me a picture of your Volt tattoo, I want to see a Volt tattoo. Neville, you got a Volt tattoo? Jeff Grant, Tammy, are you still getting your 144 APY and Archie? Actually, I'm not in the 90-day mine, but here's the interesting thing about the Archie Nico mines. I staked in the 30-day stake. Now, normally when you stake into a certain mine, whether it's 30, 60, 90, when that time has lapsed, you then have to harvest your tokens and pay the fee and everything. It's just sitting there waiting for you to harvest. I never harvested my tokens, and they continue to accrue tokens. So as long as I leave it there, like, of course, I had to pay to initially invest the tokens in the mine. But as long as I leave it there, it's just accruing more and more and more Archie Nico tokens. So I'm going to leave it there until who knows? I'm just going to leave it sitting there. So I think that particular or wait a minute. Did they double? Didn't they double? Oh, Volt for Life is like, no. Okay, no. Then you need to go and get some ink. You need to truly show representation. Come on, everybody's got tattoos. I don't have tattoos, but everybody's got tattoos of their favorite. Are you trying your hand at the Luna Classic crapshoot? Move it to 90-day. It's 12% per month. That's great. So it's actually weird because when that all happened with Luna, I owned some Luna over on crypto.com. Not a lot, not a lot. Fortunately, I didn't own a lot because when it came crashing down, it wasn't bad. I think I owned like four. So it was like, I think I started buying it at like 60, like a high price. So 4 is not that big of a deal. Some people invested their complete entire life savings and it turned into nothing. So I have nothing to complain about. So after it happened and it dropped down to like 308 the first time, I bought way more, of course. Who's not going to? So I bought millions more. And crypto.com was like, hey, we're looking to protect our investors, so we're not going to allow anybody to do anything with Luna Classic. Once again, not your keys, not your coins. So I had bought all of this money in Luna Classic and I couldn't add to it. I couldn't remove it off crypto.com. I couldn't sell it. I couldn't do nothing. All I could do was sit there and watch the price drop and drop and drop. And I couldn't add to my bag because it was all locked up. And finally, when it was like at the very lowest and then started going up again, I guess crypto.com was like, oh, maybe this is a thing. Maybe we should let people, be able to buy it again. But I did miss like the bottom, but I did add more and it had like that nice couple of days. So ask not what Voltoshi can do for you. Ask what you can do for Voltoshi. Okay, that's a JFK line. But that's good. Very true. Backpack person says, what do you think will happen to people's money in Voyager? I think it's going to be locked there until they can figure out their situation, right? Like they need to be able to obtain some loans from somebody. Hopefully Sam Bankman, who owns 11% of them, will bail them out even more so that they can figure out the situation. I mean, although I have to say, listen, when it comes to Voyager, this is the difficult part. Like they're not like out 100 million, right? Like that's doable for an exchange like that. 100 million is doable because they can get a revolving line of credit from somebody else for 100 million. Not that much. They loaned Three Arrows Capital $650 million. That's so much with hardly any collateral whatsoever. Three Arrows Capital has screwed everybody. Everybody. They completely over leveraged themselves. They got too confident. They were making too much money and they gambled with your money. They didn't gamble with their money. They gambled with your money. In turn, Voyager gambled more with your money, and so did FTX and BitMex and Deribit and maybe Digifinix is one. No, I don't know if Digifinix is. Bitfiniex is definitely one of them. But anybody that loaned Three Arrows Capital, any kind of cryptocurrency, they played with your money. How can you loan somebody $650 million, not be like, hey, man, do you know what collateral is? Like, if I'm loaning you this much, you've got to put up at least 80%. That's like the norm. I'm getting a little stuffy. I got to hit the nose drop. So I'm going to go off camera for a second and nobody wants to hear that. Although one time I thought I had my microphone muted. I'm like, I was like, oh, sorry. So it's allergy season. So that's it. Like, I hope that you're going to be able to get your assets off of Voyager, but don't count on it. Not your keys, not your coins. Staking coins, promising big returns with no capital. That too, right? That was basically where Luna was exposed. They were promising upwards of 20% APY on their stable coins. And they went to Curve to make some exchanges. Do Kwon wound up selling a lot of the stable coin because he was trying to make his stable coin that was an algorithmic stable coin. He wanted to turn it into a crypto backed stable coin. So he was accumulating Bitcoin. He wound up selling a lot of his stable coin for less money to get Bitcoin. And he didn't realize that they were going to wind up dumping all of that UST all at once. He couldn't see. He was blinded by his ego. He couldn't see what was coming, He just couldn't see what was coming. And I did too much nose candy in the It's allergy season, and I get sinusy for sure. So Maddie thinks the staking thing is a scam. I guess it depends on, what you're staking, what they're giving. Like, everyone is different. But because, the potential of, let's take Archie Nico. So, like, right now on my 30-day stake, I'm making, I think, like 72% on my 30-day staking. It's not compounding. It's just accumulating there. And once I pull it out, it'll be added to my tokens. The potential of that token going up is very good, especially when this market clears up and they get the blockchain going and they launch the metaverse. Like, they're going to have a casino. Like, it's going to be crazy when Archie Nico is finished. I know it doesn't have a lot of eyes on it right now, but in the long run, I think it's going to be really good. Like, he's got this crazy road plan. And the gentleman is from India. He has connections in India. He's got like this whole team of engineers coding away on the metaverse and coding away on the exchange. So he's got a lot working behind the scenes, and he's got their mods out there. They do a good job shilling. But the thing with Archie Nico is a lot of people fudded it in the very beginning. And I'm not talking like there was a couple of people on Twitter that fudded it. Like, there was people fudded it to me. Developers of other tokens fudded it to me. And I was like, well, this is not cool. Like, why are you fudding this project when your project's not doing so? And then I think what it is they just don't want anybody to invest in certain things, because then there's the potential you won't invest with them. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Like, for whatever reason, they just did that. And what a shame, because it scared a lot of people away from it. And I think it's going to be really good. Like, I have my stuff in this stake and I'm leaving it there. Yeah, they have their NFTs, and don't forget their NFTs are going to be crazy. Like, you get the NFT with the bank teller, whatever with the bank teller uniform, whatever money is generated through their bank in the metaverse, you're going to get a slice of it. Like, it's crazy what they're going to do. And look who popped in. Boom. JP Matthews. We have set 500 quintillion to give away for staking. Volume doesn't have anything to do with that, with what you're earning. It is a giveaway to our holders. And Sherry says, exactly. Hate is going to hate. Archie Nico has to get some really good things cooking. Yeah, NFTs are utilities in the Archie Nico metaverse. And Jeff says, Archie has plans for the NFTs to earn income in their metaverse. So perfect. And speaking of the devil, right? I talked about JP and he just happened to pop up into the conversation in the chat, right, guys? How funny is that? So no, it's different. So I definitely, the potential for Archie Nico is there to definitely go up. I mean, with their exchange, I mean, look, they could be, I shouldn't say it. They could be the Robin Hood of crypto, basically, with everything that they've got going on. And it's the slow, silent game with them. They didn't play it like how Russ played it on Saitama, right? Saitama was like, we're going to do this and this and this and this and this timetable. And they never produced anything ever, right? Archie Nico is playing it a different way. They're building the utility. And then when it's there, it's going to drop like a bomb. And then people are going to be running to get into it. Then we're going to have big, huge green candles. I know that's what's going to happen. But you can't tell people, people get scared in this market. They're like, I don't know what to get into. I do. There are certain tokens that I know are going to go places. Maddie's saying, who's the Robin Hood of crypto? Could be Archie Nico when their exchange is done, because they're working on they're working on so much. %, sure Archie Nico has 500 quint to give away to give to the holders for staking rewards. Yeah, they do. Yeah, right, JP. It's like, JP, were your ears ringing? Because like I literally just started to talk about and he popped in there. So funny. Yeah, so once again, for anybody that's just joining us, if you're on Voyager, man, not your keys, not your coins. You're all locked up. They over loaned money to Three Arrows Capital to the tune of $650 million. Can you imagine $650 million they loaned to these dudes without getting a certain amount of collateral? Just stupid, like just some stupid thing. But like they're really rolling the dice because it's DeFi, right? And the market has been crazy. Like I said before, maybe in some different market conditions, this would be acceptable. There'd be some way to make up for this. But the combination of the depegging of USD because of Terra Luna, because of Do Kwon, and the market conditions, those two things together, they're going to start to come down like dominoes. Voyager was the first to fall. Of course, we know that they loaned out, like I said, the $650 million, but there are other cryptocurrency exchanges that do have exposure to Three Arrows Capital. What I'm suggesting to you, if you have big holdings on these exchanges, there's rumors that this could happen to Coinbase. There's rumors that this could happen to KuCoin. There's a lot of different rumors, and definitely we know for sure 100%, I wrote it down, that definitely for sure Three Arrows Capital owes money to FTX, to BitMex, to Deribit, and to bitfiniex. Definitely. They definitely owe money to those exchanges. If you have funds sitting on those exchanges, my suggestion to you is to get your stuff off of those platforms. Get them off. You're going to get hit with a fee. Whenever I moved anything off of Bitmart, like when I sent my Saitama from Bitmart over to Saitamask, because I wanted to try it out, I think I lost, they took like 30% of my tokens. They took like 30% of my tokens to transfer. So when that happens to you, when you get hit with that, just know this. Is it actually worth it to buy on exchanges? If when you ultimately send to your wallet, they're taking that much of the token out, is it really worth it? Like the only no, I think it's better to just do it on a wallet. And then if you want to cash out, through your Binance hot wallet, send it over there, pay the fees, whatever that is. But I hardly buy anything on exchanges anymore because it's just too expensive. Too expensive to get it off that platform and move it to your wallet. So again, I'll say FTX, Bitmart, Deribit, and bitfiniex, all of them have exposure because of Three Arrows Capital. If you have anything in there, especially if you have Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe your little junky tokens that you've picked up here and there, you got some crappy little, I don't know, cat girl or whatever, that I wouldn't worry about. That could sit there, right? Because it's probably worthless at this point. But your bigger tokens, your blue chip tokens, like your Bitcoin and your Ethereum, oh, I would get them out of there hella fast. I would get them out of there hella fast. Man, the Archie Miko people are showing support in here. Thank you, Sherry. Guys, please like and subscribe. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Would absolutely be amazing. Hey, JP, do you want me to throw you a link? Do you want to come on? Sometimes he's up for it. Oh, I'm giving away too much classified information. Shucks. But I didn't talk about the aggregator. So what's the big deal? I didn't tell anybody about the aggregator, JP. So what's the big deal? I didn't tell them about that, right, Sherry? As long as I didn't tell them about that. So I could drop, how would I even get a link to JP? I'm trying to think. He doesn't really message me on Twitter. Yep, guys, that's the sad information about Voyager. So I'm so sorry if you've got some money in Voyager. I feel bad for you. What do I think is going to happen? Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about FTX, okay? Because FTX, as we know, the CEO of FTX is Sam Bankman-Fried, which is an ironic last name, let's admit. And he's very smart, multi-billionaire. Like I said, he is one of the asset managers for Alameda Research Group. Very intelligent, very smart in the crypto space. I don't see that dude loaning out that kind of money without backing it with collateral. So I think FTX might be okay. I don't see them having freezes, but like BitMex, Deribit, and bitfiniex, do we think that, do we think they played it like Sam, or do we think they played it like Voyager? Do we think they played it like Celsius, Alex Mashinsky? Don't forget, Celsius now is going on like day 20 that they've been locked up, and people can't get their money off the platform. And here's the scary part. They're centralized. They're not some like little DeFi game. That's a centralized platform that you can't pull your funds off of. They're locked up now for 20 days. Oh, but if you have a loan out with them, you have to continue to pay your loan, or else they're going to liquidate whatever you put up as collateral. You had to put up collateral for your loan on Celsius, and you still have to pay for it. But all of these other Three Arrows Capital, up, deuces, I'm out, right? Like they're not going to get punished. Who knows? Maybe they will. I don't know, but it's stinks. Okay, Tammy, JP is unable to come on at this moment. He was just stopping by, ears ringing. Would like to give you thanks. Appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, we don't know. That's the rumor, right? Coinbase might have a similar situation as Voyager, which would be crazy. Because if you think about it, a lot of times when you hear people talking about which crypto platform they use, I know they always say that Binance is the number one exchange here in the United States, but Binance US. Whenever I've talked to family members that are into crypto, and not that many of them are, but they're usually like, "Man, I use Coinbase." Coinbase seems to be like the go-to one, I think because it's so simple, very simple to get on Coinbase. I don't even remember if I had to send my license in to Coinbase. Maybe I did. I don't know. But, I use my debit card on Coinbase. It's just very easy. So, let me Google if this is I'm gonna put Coinbase halting, and I'll put Three Arrows Capital in the search bar to see if that pops anything up. But there is a rumor that something could happen with Coinbase too, but nothing has been solidified there right now. No, it's just, I don't think that they did. I think because when I was doing my initial research about the Three Arrows Capital, it was those exchanges. Voyager was definitely in the mix. Seems like Voyager was the one that was the most. I mean, 650 million KuCoin. Okay, use KuCoin, but pulling off of that too now. Yeah. If you have any tokens, like those bigger tokens, like your Ethereum or your Bitcoin on anything, like I wouldn't trust anything. Like I got some stuff sitting on crypto.com. I don't know if they have any exposure to Three Arrows, but you never know. Like maybe they don't have exposure to Three Arrows Capital, but maybe now they have some kind of exposure to Voyager. Do you see how everything is so incestuous and intertwined? Right? Like you just don't know where it's going. Who could have foreseen that the depegging of the UST in Terra Luna would cause all of this? It has caused all of this. Three Arrows Capital was heavily, heavily invested with them. Heavily invested with them, also very heavily invested in Ethereum 2.0. They have a lot of, staked ETH going on. Difficulty bomb just went off again, so it's going to be 100 days until well, actually I think they did break that and it cost them a bunch of money. But there's a lot of people gambling with the Ethereum 2.0. Like they want to be set up to be validators. And that difficulty bomb, what it's going to do is right now the people are known as miners that mine Ethereum. They're known as miners. They're not going to be known as miners anymore. They're going to be known as validators. And that difficulty bomb, the reason they call it a difficulty bomb is because they're going to make everything so much more difficult and less financially profitable that it's not worth the money that these miners make. The difficulty bomb is going to go off. And by day 100, it's going to be non-profitable at all. They're going to be losing money. They're going to be paying more in electricity than they are with earning from gas fees. So they're going to get the hell out of there. And that's not going to happen for 100 days. So they all took big gambles on that. Celsius definitely took a big, huge gamble on that. So I think I've been talking for like an hour now. I don't think there's anything else, unless you guys want to hear about Saitama, some of the stuff I heard about Saitama, which is bad, bad news. It is all intertwined. Okay, so I'll just tell you what I learned a little bit about Saitama. So I go into these spaces and a lot of times it's people ranting because listen, they've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in Saitama. Some people have lost tens of thousands of dollars and some people have only lost a couple $100, right? Like there's a big, but they're upset. Everyone's upset, but you can imagine the people that lost a lot more money are a lot more upset. So they come into these spaces and you're talking about community members that have been there from like the very beginning. and I love listening to Faltron because he always has the inside scoop because he shilled for them. He says he's never been paid by Saitama. The other shillers did get paid, but he's independently wealthy. He didn't need to be paid by Saitama, but he was a holder and he felt like it was in his best interest to shill his bag. So he was shilling Saitama all over the place. He was one of the big shillers on there day and night, would come after me if I had anything bad to say about Saitama. Anyway, he's out, right? He's out. He's out of there. And he knows where all the skeletons are. He knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows the skeletons in the closet. Like, dude, he knows. Like, it's crazy what these devs have told the shillers. Like, it's amazing to me that Faltron didn't catch on so much earlier. And I think to myself, like, oh my God, like people like Torres and Shaka, like they have to know. At this point, there's no way that they can't know. You notice anime is not showing for them anymore. Anime bounced. Hey, you know Hinoc sold, right? So you know Hinoc, he's the guy that's always howling into the camera, was shilling Saitama 100%. He was the one that Russ was booked for an interview that was going to be held on one of Binance's subsidiaries' website. And Russ put out the release saying, we're going to do a interview here, and it's going to be under the banner of Binance. And Hinoc took that piece of information, howled all over Twitter, howled into his camera, posted the video on Twitter, created FOMO. People dumped even more money into Saitama. They had this big, huge pump, big, huge green candle, because he's like, you know, he just didn't say they're going on Binance or an interview. He's like, we're getting listed on Binance. This is it. Guys, this is what we've been waiting for. We're finally going to be listed on Binance. So what do you do when you're a Saitama holder and you are listening to, because he was considered one of the insiders, right? Like he's in the know. He's Hinoc. Everybody loves Hinoc. People talk to Hinoc. He's in the know. And so if he's saying, hey, man, we're getting listed on Binance, you can imagine what that's going to do for the price of a cryptocurrency if it freaking gets listed on Binance, right? It's going to explode. So he caused the community FOMO, and people aped in even more to Saitama. Well, of course, they never were listed on Binance. Russ missed the interview, and I have more information about that. But the devs behind the scene, Russ had tweeted to, or not tweeted, he messaged to somebody and said, I don't know why Hinoc is saying we're getting listed on Binance. Like, that's not happening. All Russ had to do when Hinoc did this, all Russ had to do was come out on Twitter and say, you know, I just want to, you know, cool down any expectations. We're not being listed on Binance. I'm just doing an interview that's going to be under the banner of Binance. You know, I appreciate that you guys are so enthusiastic and you believe you have this much confidence in the token that inevitably we will be, but that's not happening now. And I feel incumbent upon myself to let you know that's not the truth. That's what a decent person would do, right? Like, but no, he let that go and it caused huge FOMO. So then the interview, this is what was supposed to happen. Supposed to do an interview. And he had on his Twitter page, hey guys, tomorrow, don't forget, I have the Binance interview. But it was that day, because they had a countdown to when the interview was going to start. And we're like watching, like Sandstorm had it live on his YouTube channel. And I'm like watching the ticker go down. And I'm like, Russ is not saying anything. Russ tweeted a couple hours ago that it's tomorrow. Like maybe he got the date wrong. Maybe he got the time wrong. And that's what happened. Russ missed the interview. Boom, the chart fell so hard because Russ came up with a tweet and he's like, oh, they postponed the interview. It's like, nah, bitch, you missed it. You missed it. You said it was going to be tomorrow. It was today. We all sat down there and watched the ticker count down to 0, and you were a no-show. You missed it. So then, of course, then the chart came down so hard because of that. Yeah, he is a kid, but you know what? He's got a crap ton of. What's up, Bobby Joe? Bobby Joe's in the house, everybody. Yep, I'm on the FBI most wanted list. Ta-da! Oh, I'm way behind in comments. I guess. I don't know when anybody popped in. What's up? Oh, Keith is here from Coin View Cap. You guys, Keith is very close to finishing up his new website, so I'm super psyched for that. Mike Larry says Enoch is new to crypto. This is his first bear market. So when he busted onto the scene, it was like crazy. Like it did, but it seems like he's always a little late, right? Like he got in late too. And he did like what, and I have to say this, Enoch got very lucky because he was howling into the camera and doing all of that. Somebody was very impressed with him. They're like, this kid knows how to market. This kid is going places. I believe in him. They gave him $1 million. And he did this challenge. I am going to take this $1 million and in a year, I'm going to turn it into $100 million. And he made the address of the wallet public because he wanted to take everybody on the journey with him. Come watch me become a millionaire. He aped into Saitama. That's one thing I have to say. Enoch wasn't like the devs. The devs were never buying Saitama. They bought in the very beginning when it was like $20 a trillion. And then we all know it got to be like $1,000 for $1 billion. Like they bought early. They never bought. They were dumping. As a matter of fact, Russ sold 2.5 ETH last night. I watched his wallet. He dumped 2.5 more ETH last night during this dip. If you're a multimillionaire, why do you need to sell 2.5 Ethereum when Ethereum is only at $1,000 and your chart's taking a dump? Why are you selling? He's broke, I think. So that's the situation there. Oh, so about Enoch. He always did buy. He bought when he thought they were being listed on Binance. Now, don't forget, he had $1 million to play with. He bought I think he bought like $70,000 more of Saitama. And then once the Binance thing fell through, went way, way down. So needless to say, his $100 million challenge is not going so well. Here's another thing. Enoch, because that wallet is public, we know he's out of Saitama. He left the wolf pack. He kind of like backed away while nobody was looking, right? He did the old dance move like you're dancing, you back out. You want to leave a party, you just start back, you dance out the door. That's what he did. He's like, Enoch out. And he left. He sold his Saitama and bounced. Did he sell his Saitama the day of the launch when it was way, way high, when it was double, quadruple the price? Nope. Enoch dumped when the chart was at its lowest. That's when Enoch sold. Enoch took a huge loss because of Saitama. When I think of all of those times that he howled into the camera, got everybody all, and like Larry said, right? Like he was new to himself. He just didn't know. He just really didn't know. Well, I don't know if he's lost most of it. I think the last time I looked at the wallet was like $800,000. Billion. Oh, the bill. Yeah, that one. Yeah, she made off with some money. And I was like, clearly not me. I'm not. Hey, Tammy, didn't know that YouTuber had only 6 subscribers. Sacco Hunt. Hi, Tammy, didn't that YouTuber had only 6 subscribers? Who had 6 subscribers? Enoch bought high and all at one time. Dude could have been averaging down today with that million rookie. Yeah, like he did. He made a lot of mistakes. When somebody gives you like $1 million though, right? Like it's not like you worked for it. I feel like when you work for something, you're more cautious with how you spend that money. If he had to go out there and earn that million, he would have been like, Saitama, oof, that's a gamble. What else did we learn about Saitama today? In these spaces, the stuff you learn is absolutely incredible. And I've told you guys that there's two particular people. If you want to be in the know with what's going on with Saitama, you should follow Tequila Pete and Skywalker. They constantly go through Etherscan and Faltron, like in Kelbell, all these people that were formerly involved with the Wolfpack, invested tons and tons of money, and now they've lost it all. Right? Like they've took Skywalker, got his whole family to invest. He's like, they're not wealthy. He's like, thank goodness I have a good job and I made them whole. I gave them their money back. He's like, but I got everybody to invest in this. And that's why I'm so upset. So he combs through Etherscan. He's the one that found out which wallet belonged to Nam. And because he was able to find out which wallet belonged to Nam, then he was able to glean who belonged to which wallet. Those tippity top wallets are all dev wallets, So he was like, okay, this one is Russ's then, and this one is so-and-so, and this one is so-and-so. So he knows every time that the dips would happen or we'd get a little bit of a pump, the devs would dump. They would sell tokens. Meanwhile, they're telling you guys to buy the dip while they're selling. And they knew all along that Saitama was not functioning, that it was not working. The newest thing was a couple of days ago, I think it was on the 24th, they dissolved the LLC that they had in Massachusetts in the United States for Saitama. They were incorporated. They were a limited liability corporation. Skywalker and Tequila Pete today posted on Twitter, guess what? Saitama is not even a company anymore. They're not a company. Saitama didn't release anything about that. No. So then they had to go and do damage control, and they put out a press release saying, actually, we're going to incorporate in Dubai because Dubai is going to be the crypto epicenter of the world. It's going to be great. You can be incorporated here in the United States and still do business globally. That's what crypto is all about. So it's unbelievable. Oh, Captain Jasmine, always been my play coin. Good stuff. Less than a penny. Yeah, I bought more Jasmine too. So they are incorporating in Dubai. So they say. I'm like, we don't know. We don't really know, right? So they had to do damage control and release that. It is just unbelievable what you find out about them. And of course, freaking Elon Mansour, right? Like the stuff that he was saying, he said in a tweet somebody released in a DM, F the community. Like these people have done nothing but protect the developers and have their backs and show the community and support them. And this guy turns around and says, F the community. And he even laughed at them. There was one time he had to fly somewhere to do something, and he took a picture of himself on a plane, and he's like, hey, I'm flying out to wherever this is for a very big and important meeting for you guys, Wolfpack. Well, that's where he would have gone to sign whatever contracts if they were being listed on Binance. So then the Binance thing was going around again. They're going to be listed on Binance. And again, they knew it was not true, but he put that breadcrumb out there so that it would cause FOMO and get the chart to perk up a little bit. So he's a BA. And then he was like, yeah, F the community. Can you believe he said that? F the community. And these people are still defending them. It's like, what do they have to do? They've been dumping on you the entire time, and they knew this whole entire time that Saitama did not work and would never work. And they just let you keep putting your stuff in there. You're locked up now. But they're like, hey, and I've said it too. Listen, it is on the blockchain. There's a record of the blockchain, whatever kind of transactions you've made. And they're like, you can get access to your Saitama because it's a portal. All you have to do is go to like MetaMask. I would 100% Never, ever connect Saitamask to any other wallet. Never. We don't know what kind of exploits are planted in there. They don't know what kind of exploits are planted in there. I would never trust that thing attached to any source of my money. Never. The only thing I have sitting in Saitamask is Saitama that I had sent over when uh what did I send over there? It was either Bitmar or no, it was Gate.io. I sent the Saitama out because they were closing up shop here in the United States. I mean, there's just so much now that I know about Saitama. Like, it's even like way scarier. Dave said, Saitama are magicians. They turned 2K into 100 for me. Oh man, that stinks. I am so sorry. Do you think Bitcoin bottomed already? Nope. Personally, I think it did. Liz, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope it did. But here's, and I talked about this earlier, but you may not have been here, so I'll say it again. If you're looking at the technical analysis of Bitcoin, you know, it's already broken lines of support so many times. If I had to gauge where it's going, I'm thinking it's going to go down to $11,000. One of the main reasons I think it's going there, like I said, number one, technical analysis is out the window at this point because of the market the way that it is. And a lot of these people that did take loans out, like let's say Three Arrows Capital and Voyager and Centralization, a lot of times they paid collateral, not much, not nearly enough, but they did pay collateral in Bitcoin. When that gets liquidated, you're talking about all of that Bitcoin just simultaneously being dumped onto the market. And a lot of people, like people brought up Three Arrows Capital in a Twitter space today, and people didn't even know what Three Arrows Capital was. Like, there's definitely so many different sides of cryptocurrency. Like, you definitely have the people that just pay attention to the smaller tokens, definitely risky assets like Saitama and like the Mimi stuff. Like, they're definitely all over those projects. But when it comes to bigger things like Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, they don't pay too much attention to that. They didn't know anything about Three Arrows Capital. Nothing. So it's like all of this stuff is happening and they have no idea. They have no idea all of that Bitcoin is going to get thrust onto the market and that it's going to drive the price way, way down. So that's why I suspect Bitcoin has the potential of going to 11,000 because of that. But because of the economy. The economy is in the shitter. Like, we're in trouble. Like, it's bad. It's bad. Now, they're always saying that the supply chain is getting fixed, and maybe it is, but not fast enough. Like, it has caused major, major problems. There's parts of China are still closed. Like, they're still bad over there. Like, what are you going to do? They have like this much, well, the country's big, but they got a lot of people living in the cities, right? So when they got hit with the coronavirus, oh, watch me now get demonetized here. When they got hit with the thing, they got it bad. But there's parts and there's things that are backed up over there in the ports. It takes forever for the ships to come. Look what's going on with flights. There's like 500 flights canceled every single day because there's nobody to man the planes. The pilots aren't there to fly them. The baggage guys aren't there to load the luggage. There's no air hostesses. I think that's the right name today. They used to be stewardesses, but now they're air hostesses. I think that's the new one. Yes, honey. Okay. 500 flights a day canceled. That's crazy. And all of that has an impact on the economy. People not getting to their hotels on time. So then they have rooms standing open and, okay, cleaning lady, you don't have to clean that one today. Go home early because there's nobody here. It's like always that domino effect. And it all leads back to the supply chain. It all leads back to that. I think when we get that fixed and figured out, I think things will come ricocheting back. Probably not fast enough. But listen, it was bad. Like it was bad to begin with. Of course, it was bad. And when you think of how the Fed had handled the interest rates when the economy started to improve in like 2015, 2016, that interest rate should have started to be hiked incrementally. That's when you start to lift the interest rates, when the economy is good. This way, when the economy gets into a situation like we are now, you're able to lower the interest rates so that it helps the consumer. But now we got no wiggle room, right? Like we've got no place to go but up. And like I said, I was watching this very interesting interview about this guy that is, of course, he's into macroeconomics. I'm not, but he is. And he feels the only way to properly reset our entire financial system is to put the interest rates to 20%. And that's going to have a domino effect. And it's basically going to push our currency back to the value that it was. We might even have a chance to go back to the gold standard and we would fix it. We could even get rid of the Fed. Like if we went back to the gold standard, we could get rid of the Fed. It's crazy. Do you know that we don't own the money? We buy paper from the Fed. Like it's this convoluted thing, how our money is printed and who actually controls it. Like it is crazy. But Mike Larry, do you usually come here? Because unless you changed your little profile picture, which is the Scream dude, it has to get to a point where people have to choose between food and gas over investing. Yeah, for sure. Stay on the sidelines at least till August. Do you have a Fed announcement and GDP numbers? Both could be a disaster. Well, we know we're already in a recession. If you're a person and you're out in the store and you're looking at prices, we don't need to wait for anybody to tell us we're in a world of hurt and in a world of shit. Like we feel it. Coke, a 12-pack of Coke is $10. I couldn't believe I wouldn't spend it. I refuse to spend it. Like I'm the kind of girl that likes to pinch a penny. And when I went to Target to pick up a few things, I was like, oh, I need Coke. Let me get Coke. I was like, $10. I couldn't do it. I could not pick up the 12-pack of Coke, not for $10. No. You know why? Because I can get that at Walmart, a 24-pack for $10. So I refuse to do it. Like there's certain things that I get from Walmart and there are certain things that I'll get from ShopRite or Target, like meats you don't want to get from Walmart, milks and like perishables you can't get from Walmart. Things like coffee, they have great prices on coffee at Walmart. Soda, bottled water, stuff like that. Walmart is your go-to. It's always in stock. There's never a problem. Oh yeah, I can get a big thing, a whole 24 suitcase of Coke for $10 at Walmart. I get the big thing of Starbucks for $33 at Walmart. It's like almost $50 at my ShopRite. Like that's a big, huge difference. And listen, I say I go to ShopRite. I don't go to ShopRite. I go to Walmart. My girlfriend, she goes to ShopRite. It's like she won't go to Walmart. She's like, I'm not going to Walmart. I can't be seen in Walmart. I was like, well, I don't care. Like I grew up poor. I don't care. Like I'm going to Walmart. And that's the part of me that like, I have no shame. I don't care. I would much rather go to Walmart than spend $10 for a 12-pack. I just can't do it. $7 for cake here, Queen, in dollar store. I got it today. Wait a minute, in a dollar store? Oh, that's right. Some of their food is over $1 though, right? How many people would lose their homes with a 20% interest rate? Well, that's part of the thing that he was talking about with this interest rate thing. It would then, if people had to take into consideration that interest rates were now 20%, they would only be able to buy homes that they could afford to live in. That would suppress the buyer's market. It would bring down the price of houses. Like he had it all explained. And when he said it, I'm like, that makes sense. But it's going to take we would be in a lot of financial pain for a couple of years to do that. And United States, you know what? To be honest with you, I think we're pussies. We're too pussies to do it. There's no way we'd be able to make it through. Like, there's just no way. Everybody wants to be comfortable. Nobody wants to sacrifice anything more for the country. Everybody just wants to live in a level of comfort. Like, I'd be like, I'm down. Like, if we could fix the financial system, I could live so simply. I could cut everything I earn in half and be fine with it. Like, everybody would have to do that. And then eventually the prices of everything would come down. Housing would come down. You would make a livable wage. But maybe if you go to the store, your pack of smokes would only be $2 as opposed to 10 like they are now. Like, we could rectify everything. We could correct everything. It would be better. We would have a better standard of living. The guy was amazing. So if you look at the housing market now, my friend went to go sell her house. She put it on the market for $385, and I was like, oh, that's a lot for that house. But okay, I'm sure she'll get it. People were overbidding what she was asking. I don't even know, because I feel funny about asking people about their money. She's like, you're never going to believe I got way over my asking price. And I left it at that. I was like, good for you. Oh, that's wonderful. But that's what it is, that you can't find a house today. People are overpaying for everything. I'm willing to sacrifice for the Second Amendment. That's for sure. It's going to cost $18 to go from Midtown to Uptown. Foreclosures would go crazy at 20%. Those crazy people. Well, it would be 20% of, they would know, like, obviously you couldn't grandfather in an existing mortgage unless you had a fluctuating rate. I mean, I don't know, but, you would have to take into consideration, like I'm saying, it would be a long time of pain. And I just don't think the United States has it in, not this generation. And when I say this generation, I mean, like, even my generation, like, they're too comfy cozy. Like, my grandmother's generation, that was the generation. Like, those people lived through the first depression. They knew what it meant to work hard and shut up and put your nose to the grindstone and get stuff done, and don't cry like a baby. Don't be looking for the government to bail you out and do all this again. No, hey, you either made it or you died. There was nothing there to back you up. If you lost your job, you didn't get money. There was no unemployment. You went out and did whatever you had to do to buy food. When my great-grandfather, speaking of, this is my great-grandmother, and that's my grandma, the little baby she's holding. I'm trying to do it right here. This was just a friend of theirs. Her husband died during the Spanish flu, left her widowed at 26 with 5 kids. There was no food stamps. There was no housing. There was no Social Security. You either made it or you didn't. You either made a living for yourself or you starved and you died and you were homeless. This woman ran a farm with 5 children. She never married again. She never had a man in the house, nothing. The priest brought a guy to the house one time because he had lost his wife in the flu. He wanted them to get married. She chased the priest and the man off the porch with a broom. One of a kind. That woman knew how to work hard. We're pussies today compared to her. People would be online for, I need assistance. No, there was no assistance. None of that existed. All of that came into, the New Deal that was put into place to drag us out of the depression. That's when they started Social Security and everything. And which I'm fine. I'm good with Social Security. I mean, people got to live, you don't want to, because don't forget family. Man, I have taken a turn from cryptocurrency to this, but I'm just going to say the reason I'm glad that they have the Social Security now is because family dynamics have changed, right? Like, it's not the way it used to be. You used to grow up in a house and your grandmother lived with you and your grandfather. And you just took it for granted that one day your parents would come to live with you. And then you would go live with your kids when you were old. Like, that was the dynamic of families. The oldsters moved in because they retired. They couldn't work anymore. They were in too much pain and they didn't have any money. So they had to go live with their kids. That doesn't happen anymore. No, You never see old people moving in with their kids. Like, you hear about it every now and then, but it's very rare. They're usually down in Florida. You know, my dad's living in Florida like he's a teenager. He's driving a BMW for himself. My mother died 2 years ago, and he's living it up. And I'm happy for him. You know, he's, like I said, he's got cancer right now. I want him to enjoy his life. I want him to do whatever he wants to do to find happiness and be cool with it. And he is having a good time. Flirting while his nurses. Yes, I am. Thank you very much. I am from Strong Stock. That's one thing. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, that was my great grandma. She was a good woman. Oh, cigarettes for $7. That's a good price for $7. Here in Jersey, they're 10. Look at this one. She's in the Hamptons in a trailer. I didn't think there were trailers in the Hamptons. Too much says, I remember when interest rates were 15%, buying a home was reasonable in California. Thank you, Peter. John Patrick says, good to go, Tammy. Thank you. Great hearing from you. I'm on my way to go to the Mint Party live soon later. Oh, Teddy's Mint Party. He's flirting with it. Yes, Teddy's got, don't forget, Teddy Ganja Goons. He's having the Mint Party for his NFTs. And his channel's name is, I think, is the Crypto Future. So I'm going to go because I think it's starting soon. It is starting soon. I'm going to let you guys go. I thank you so much for joining me. I mean, I really only meant for this to be a quick one. Oh, and I didn't even bring up Pixel. I'll talk about that in my next one. I might go live later on tonight because it's the weekend. I could stay up late. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, remember, try to only buy on those red candles and please take care of yourself. And in case I don't see you at the next one, make sure you stay safe during the 4th of July. Don't have any mishaps with fireworks. Don't be blowing your hand and fingers off or anything. Be safe, okay? Don't drink or drive, okay? God bless.